16.1 Roles, Responsibilities and Skills of a Coach. Ashley Adamson-Edwards. This type of insurance is called the public liability insurance, and it's an insurance which covers you or your company against a member of the public making claims for compensation. So, for example, it covers against injuries, loss of property, and damage to property. So, an example in coaching would be a Sunday League football coach, for example. A Sunday League football coach would have to ensure that this type of insurance is occupied for themselves or the small club that they represent. This is so that the coach themselves or the club isn't liable for payment or compensation. This would apply to a situation like if a parent had parked their car at the site and realised that something there had damaged their personal car. If the parent wanted to claim compensation against the club, then if the claim was valid, then instead of the club or coach paying the compensation, then the public liability insurance would cover them for having to make the payments. If this insurance wasn't obtained by a coach or club, then they would be vulnerable to serious amounts of payment, perhaps debt, and also could ruin their representation of being a sports club that is responsible or takes responsibility. In addition, another example would be the Los Angeles Lakers basketball coach. So a coach at this huge basketball club would perhaps not have to worry about this insurance as much due to the scale of the club, and therefore there would be other positions which would deal with this matter. However, if insurance wasn't occupied, then it could possibly still fall onto the coach as it is part of the rest of a coach's responsibilities, and therefore would receive even more backlash as they're part of a sporting club with such high media attention. The next example of insurance would be the employer's liability insurance. So, this is a legal requirement for a company which employs any form of workers. This insurance covers against injury or illness caused by the work environment that the company provides to the workers. Therefore, it is the company's responsibility to first of all make sure that they provide a safe environment, and then to additionally ensure that they have this insurance. If a company doesn't have this kind of insurance, then they could be fined up to £2,500 a day and could ruin their representation because they haven't had this insurance and therefore that they are a responsible company. This would relate to perhaps a professional football club like Liverpool, where if a coach like Jurgen Klopp didn't have this insurance, then they would receive even more backlash due to the media attention they get. However, a small Sunday league coach would have to have this insurance. However, might not get their representation ruined due to the fact that they don't have a lot of media attention, and therefore could perhaps get away with it. However, they would still have to pay out a lot of money themselves if they didn't have the insurance. Finally, you have the business equipment insurance. So this isn't a legal requirement, but it is essential for companies which heavily rely on perhaps technology for their day-to-day business. So, for example, a 100 meters sprinting coach like Glenn Mills probably have this insurance as an essential for equipment like a MRI scanners for his athletes in case of injury or just to get a sense of their overall health. If for some reason flooding caused damage to perhaps MRI scanner, and there was severe damage and damage to equipment, then the business equipment insurance would cover against this and give Glenn Mills or the organisation that he represents the money to pay for a new one. However, if this wasn't obtained, then they'd cover themselves from any damage, floods, riots, earthquakes, lightning, and there's plenty more of natural disasters or things that could damage the organisation.